Welcome to the GroundBreakers podcast, where each week we dive deep with the brightest minds in tech, founders, investors, and thought leaders, uncovering the stories behind their work, their company, and the strategies that drive them forward. This podcast is brought to you by Shorooq Partners, the leading alternative investment manager in the Middle East and North Africa. And I'm your host, Tarek Fouad. If you're new to our channel, we'd love for you to join our network and community. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest episodes and news. Your support helps us in continue creating valuable content for founders everywhere. Today, I'm excited to have a man passionate about real estate and technology, a Syrian serial entrepreneur and internet figure, and the author of the book, The Art of Real Estate Investment from Entry to Exit. It's the one and only founder and CEO of Dubai's largest and most technologically advanced real estate company, FAM Properties. Welcome to the show, Firas.
Tarek, thank you very much. I need to bring you to our next event to introduce me on stage. God.
Absolutely. I'm a great hype man, by the way.
I'm very humbled, man. Thank you.
First of all, let me tell you, I'm one big fan of your Nordic by FAM villas. Absolutely stunning. For those who don't know the Nordic line by FAM, you're missing a lot. So you can click on the link that I will share at the top right corner or in the comment section below, but please go check it out. And maybe for us, just to warm you up, I know you've just finished the meeting. Why don't you just tell us a little bit more about the Nordic line? What makes it special?
Wow. So, it all started when me and my wife were looking for a villa in Dubai, and we couldn't find what we really like, especially in terms of design. And it happened that we often visit Norway and Scandinavian countries. We love the minimal designs they have. So long story short, we came back to Dubai. I bought a piece of land in one of the best locations called Al Wasl district. And, I'm very busy at work. So I said, hire my wife. I said, you have a free hand. Do what you like to do with the design, external and internal. So she's done an amazing job on her own. All credit goes to her. And then I've got like tons of compliments. Many people asking, what is this? Can we buy it? Is it for sale? Agents were asking. And then obviously I'm not the tech guy really, tactically, and I'm not the designer technically, but I know how to monetize things. I know how to monetize the gift of others. And I thought it would be good for me to start developing villas. So we started Nordic by FAM, and I think it's an unmet demand in the market. Normally, luxury is associated in Dubai, in most cases, to flashy cladding, to marble,
Gold.
to book match marble, so on and so forth. But if you come to our villas, I think we just did record-breaking sales in Al Wasl district. The villa before us was sold for 46. We sold for 61.5, the same size plot and built up, but obviously different materials, different designs. And now the newly handed over villa there is on the market for 76 million. Now,
Amazing.
what differentiates our offerings in the market, in a nutshell, without being very self-promotional, I think today there is nothing like what we're developing in Dubai market. No, I don't want to say because we're the smartest, but I think because we have our hands on the pulse of the market, we understand the supply and demand, and no one wanted to take the risk and start something completely new that never exists in Dubai. Because whatever you build in Dubai, it actually sells, right? So sometimes people and investors don't want to reinvent the wheel. If building X, Y, and Z there's a proven track record of selling it at X, they just build the same more or less. So we took a leap of faith on what we believe to be very unique, and we designed Nordic by FAM villas.
Hats off.
Very minimal, a lot of natural light, extremely spacious, high ceilings. All the materials imported from Europe, or most of the materials are imported from Europe. So the glazing and aluminium is from Eurosystem or Gutmann, a German brand. All the natural wood is imported from Finland. Yeah, I can talk for hours, but that's
Beautiful.
what it is in a nutshell. We have a pipeline of villas to deliver worth of about 1.5 billion dirhams between Al Wasl and Maidan. We just signed actually 5 new plots today.
Excellent. And maybe let's kind of dive into the crux here. So for us, real estate is increasingly becoming a tech-driven industry, with global real estate tech investments, just prop tech in general, projected to kind of hit a record high of $89 billion this year. So technology is clearly transforming how we buy, sell, and manage properties. In your experience, how is technology transforming the real estate market today? And what specific innovations have FAM properties implemented so far?
I mean, you have different fronts and contexts to this, but when it comes to the B2C, I think it's still very much human relevant industry overall. And I believe I mean, I don't see why or how it will transform yet. However, I know it will 100% transform and maybe overnight. It's just one new innovation that will come to the market and just change the game completely. Now I'm talking about the B2C in the sense of all these, virtual reality tours, so on and so forth. You
Correct.
still get people and buyers who want to come and to see the place physically. You still get people who want to come and actually talk to the agent or talk to the real estate developer. They want to
Yeah.
actually, I mean, this is one of the most valuable or high ticket investment someone can possibly do in their life sometimes. And they want to always come and talk, in fact, even face to face, right? So it's
Yes.
still human relevant. However, it will transform at some point in time. When, why, and how, I don't know, but I know that that's coming. And what we do as a company, we try to always spearhead like every nitty gritty to do with the prop tech industry, because we want to be very well prepared and we want to have the first mover advantage whenever something new comes to the market, and it's good to disrupt the market. In general, I think why it hasn't been disrupted yet, in addition to the reasons that I just mentioned, I think you need a lot more regulations around the market. So for tech to come, you're talking about a system basically. AI is a nice fancy name, but it's all algorithms, right? So you need
Correct.
very clean data, number one. You need enough data as well, historical and current, number two. And number three, you also need to make sure that the market is really well regulated from a safety standpoint of actually transacting. And that is something can never happen without the government interference. Not actually interference, without the government leading, leading the trend.
Yeah.
We're blessed in Dubai. I think Dubai spearheads everything new in the region and in some cases in the world as well. And we see an opportunity in being heavily involved in whatever can be done today. So on the data end, obviously we came up with the DXB Interact, which didn't come by chance or by coincidence. Our vision as a company is to disrupt and to redefine the best practices in the industry through ethical and transparent tools that benefits every stakeholder. And I think the XP Interact has indeed achieved this. It had really redefined and changed the way every stakeholder does their work. It's the first open data platform that is free and accessible by everyone and to everyone.
Yeah.
That brought, for example, the transparency over the rental transactions in Dubai.
Yes.
So today,
Yes.
if you want to know how much any property was sold or rented for, you go to the XP Interact. It's the only standalone website that actually
Yeah,
has
I'm a
the logo of
personal
the
user. Yeah.
government, Dubai Land Department. I don't want to dive into this, and because maybe
Yeah,
that's a
we'll
separate.
probably cover it in a lot of the other
But
questions.
yeah, but when we talk about prop tech, like that's something that has worked extremely well, and it's indeed prop tech, and it's only the start. So what we've built so far that has worked really well is only a foundation for what we are gonna bring in over the coming years.
So kind of to summarize, tech will play a role, but in areas where the human element is still core, that will probably will stay intact for quite some time. Primarily driven because it's one of the biggest investments anyone will do, and there is a need for that human element to stay in the loop.
Also,
But
a lot of it is experiential sales, right? Especially when it comes to end users.
yeah, you need to see it, feel
Even now,
it.
real estate developers who are selling, for example, luxury properties, or they're selling, communities at scale, they create experience centers, no longer called a sales center. It's an experience center because, you want to go and tackle and tap into maybe every sense of your buyer in order for you to make a sales happen.
Yeah,
So again,
correct.
it's human relevant.
Correct. Now, your ERP system is often heightened and highlighted as a cornerstone of FAM Properties success. With integrated ERP systems increasing, and that's not just for FAM Properties, but in general, increasing operational efficiency by probably up to 20%, they're obviously crucial for the right reasons for modern businesses. Can you maybe elaborate for the ones who don't know, how did you come up with your special ERP system at FAM Properties, and how does it integrate with the experience of your professionals?
All right. A quick note before I start: the entire credit of anything to do with tech and data goes to my brother Fatih, who is more than a chief of tech and a chief of marketing at the company. So I'm really proud of what he's done. Again, I know how to monetize it. I know how to build a business model around it.
Yeah.
But he's the tech guy. He's the tech brain. Now, whether it's our ERP or the XP Interact, the reason why they became extremely successful is because we have our hands on the pulse of the market as brokers, as investors ourselves, as an institutional investor as well, because we have basically certain investment companies that we represent and we're part of, and we make investment decisions on behalf of the shareholders, as well as we have a mortgage brokerage company. So we're involved in the overall ecosystem of
Value
the real
cycle.
estate market,
Yeah.
including real estate development. So we know what information each market stakeholder needs to access in order for them to make well-informed decision. So now the remaining, once you know this, once you know how to solve a problem in the market, once you know how to create more value to stakeholders, now we need to make sure that it's presented in a way that is very easy to use, because to a certain degree, when many people see data, statistics, charts, so on and so forth, they maybe get intimidated to a certain degree. So we've created an interface that is extremely user friendly. And we've also made sure that it tackles the pain point in the market that's on DXP Interact. For example, one of the most important indicators for us to understand where the market is going to, and one of the things that we need to watch in terms of measuring the risk of the market in Dubai, is to see the price gap between what a real estate developer is selling for and what the resale market is selling for example. So if you go to the XP Interact, you will see sold by real estate developer, sold by individual on the resale market, and
Correct.
see the differences.
Yes.
Of course, there's a lot more on the XP Interact. There was supply and demand, so on and so forth. But when it comes to our ERP, it's the same thing. What makes our ERP very special is, tech is very important, but to be honest, tech alone does nothing. Tech basically is just
It's the means.
your digital experience of a process that works and that creates value, right? So all the pain points of a broker using off-the-shelf CRM, including the pain points and the challenges and the needs for a real estate business to scale, and how all the different departments and different moving parts talk to each other, is actually what we built in our CRM. And obviously in Dubai, the biggest opportunity is that the city is being built as we speak. That's the biggest opportunity, that now the city is being built. Like, many generations lived and died and did not witness a city being built, and not any city, a city that has an amazing global positioning and has gone so far, proving its long-term ability to actually overcome challenges and to create opportunities out of them, and to build, a great deal of success.
Correct.
So when it comes to our ERP, we've taken all our experience, and we made sure that we maintain a very high level of agility in terms of how we evolve the system. So everything is done in-house. And every time there's a new process or there's a new challenge or there's new addition that needed to be added to the process or to the way we do business in order for us to increase efficiency and effectiveness, we've actually embedded that into the system. And of course, we've been in the market 17 years, which means I can tell you that every good idea that came to the mind of any employee or team member, especially within the leadership of the company, has been built and embedded into the system.
So maybe I have a few follow-on questions on this. How do you measure success of the ERP system and its outputs? And real estate industry, what isn't necessarily known to be tech adaptive in a sense, right? So, and you building a very large organization, bringing about hundreds with you on that mission, there must have been a lot of challenges that you faced. Maybe you shed some light on some of these challenges and how did you work and overcome them?
I mean, in general, they asked me, they said, what are the biggest challenges that you face in leadership? And I said, it's not even facing a challenge. It's the fact that when you introduce something new for the first time, you believe that it is amazing, it works, and you know why it works. It's not easy to to manifest it and to get people to believe in it. Even after you have built the tech piece, you need to get people to use it and to utilize it.
Yes,
right?
adoption, yeah.
So your ownership has to be absolutely to closure. Now, to your point, back in 2014 or end 2013, I decided I want to take the company to a corporate level because I felt that real estate businesses live and die unknown. 99.99% of real estate companies are not sellable. Like if you open a shawarma place for 3 years, you can sell it as a business. But if you have a real estate company with 20 or 30 agents or 50 agents, it's worth nothing. No one's going to buy it from you. Once agents leave, that's it, you're done. So I wanted to take the business to a corporate level. Now, to take the business to a corporate level and to manage things at scale, it is impossible to do that without having a very solid governance, to govern your operations within the company. And to make sure that the application is right, you need to make sure that whatever governance you come up with is actually digitalized and it's on a system.
Yes.
That's the time we said we want to build a system that actually works. Now, you've mentioned that it's 20% at least. I think it's like 200% increment on your efficiency and effectiveness if you compare it to using analog processes within your company. I think the benefits are immense. The value you get is just insane. I mean, forget even the efficiency and the effectiveness, which are core factors to the success of your ERP system, the reliability of the system, and how it helps you to create consistent experience is just amazing. This is one of the unspoken success stories of having an ERP system or a CRM. It actually gives you consistent results because you're not dependent on any
humans or
so on
markets,
and motivation and
can always adapt,
and so forth, right? Now, how do you measure success? I think ultimately I measure the success of the actual business. If you have the best ERP system in the world, if I give you the best fighter jet and you don't learn how to use it, you're not intentional about learning about these resources and how these resources benefit you. And even when you start learning, if you don't actually continue practicing so you can master how to effectively use it and leverage it, then it's no success story for me.
Yeah.
So first you have to obviously come up with the right processes, you digitalize it on a system, and then you need to have your plan to implement, to train people, and then to measure the end results. So for me, when I look at one dashboard and I see every single, I mean it, every single activity within my organization, and I cascade that to my managers and directors, how they see every single activity that matters to the matrix, to the success metrics of the company, with just one click. And as you move forward, you'll be able to review more data and to read more trends. Your decision making process becomes bulletproof, literally, because you know exactly how it was and how it's
Yeah,
improving, and if it's going down, why it's going down, and if it's going up, why it's going up.
correct.
So honestly, it works like magic. You turn back, you be like, how did we come up with these decisions?
Yeah. And I think whatever you can measure, you can manage, and that becomes a feedback loop that
Yeah.
keeps giving in a sense. I want to switch off gears a little bit, Firas. I saw a few videos of you on YouTube where you went on to explain back in COVID-19 and its impact on the real estate market. But 2022, and correct me if I'm wrong, was a remarkable year for the Dubai real estate sector, which kind of saw significant growth to several factors, including low mortgage rates, supply and demand of high quality living and workplaces, investor preference for ready properties was there over the under construction units, and that was all great. The real estate market is just over 11% growth. Obviously, falling slightly behind from last year's 16%, but it's still in the up trajectory, mostly due to reduced prices because of the pandemic. Fast forward to today, the central bank of the UAE raised its base rate, which is the ODF, the overnight deposit facility, in February 2023 by a quarter of a percentage point to reach to 4.65. This obviously have impacted a lot. It's the eighth increase in policy rates by the U.S. Federal Reserve, but obviously it impacted the UAE in that sense. Now, this increase of ODF rate is expected to impact the purchasing power of consumers, and as a result, potentially reduce demand and impact the property prices, which we currently see. It's quite steep today, what we see. How do you see all that kind of reshaping buying behavior? Did it change much from COVID-19 days? And what trends do you anticipate continuing at least until the next year?
All right. I'll speak for a few hours. You ready?
Absolutely. I'm here for you.
All right. I'll try to keep it short. I mean, first of all, regarding today, I have a very strong opinion about what's happening in the market and where the market is heading to and why. I'm going to share it with you, but obviously I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. But me, at my personal capacity as a real estate investor and as an entrepreneur and business owner, I am operating in my life and leading my life forward on the basis of what I believe to be true. Yeah. Although I know that I could be wrong. But first of all, when you look at the macro, economy, I believe that the inflation will never come down or
Yeah,
will never go back to where it was before. I think at some point we're gonna hit a dead end. Like at the moment, what they're doing is they're just trying to balance. They
correct.
they see that certain things about to collapse because of interest rate, then they stop. They don't increase it or they increase it less. And then they see that, okay, you're 1 inch above water with your head, then again they increase interest rate. But I think we are today, we are experiencing the result of a backload of decades, right? At a global economy scale. And that's why I feel that the value of money will continue to deteriorate. You saw now Saudi announced that they will not renew the agreement of the
The petrodollar.
petrodollar,
Yeah,
right? So that's again in anticipation of the dollar collapse or the dollar devaluation. And I think if you look at this also in the light of what's happening in the world, like the world is in a big mess, right? Russia, Europe, it's like It's like be or not to be.
Yeah.
And I feel now coming to the micro, talking about, Dubai,
Yeah.
I think, first of all, Dubai is not a mortgage-driven market. If you go to invest in Europe real estate, you will see that 90% plus of the sales transactions happen based on mortgage, because there are so many reasons for this, not just in addition to the leverage and making more returns and IRR, so on and so forth, but you also have to do it for taxation reason, for inheritance tax, for so many other things as well. So Dubai is a cash-driven market. Cash as in it's not a mortgage-driven market. One. Two, Dubai has built an infrastructure, and I think the entire business world today, the entire private business world, competes towards creating better client experience. And I think Dubai resembles like the best private company in the world, because their hardcore focus is client experience, being the residents, the visitors, the tourists, the locals. It's insane. And you feel that the minute you travel. You ask anyone who traveled and came back, be like, oh, okay. Even if they enjoyed wherever they went to, but they would still say the level of service and quality of life you get in Dubai, especially for what you pay, is just amazing. We knew that the market went up massively from COVID up until now, but the market was underpriced. And during COVID, you could buy a property in Dubai for less than the construction cost of the property.
Wow.
Now, you look at all these fundamentals, I think collectively, I think Dubai is playing the role that Switzerland played in the World Wide War before. And I think Dubai is the number one city, and the UAE is the number one country that is well positioned to take that lead. Whatever is happening around Dubai, like for example, Saudi now is developing, but will take time. And I think whatever is happening, whatever goodness happens in Saudi is actually good for Dubai. Europe would have not been Europe if it was only for Germany or France. But it's the collective success of all these countries that created Europe. Now you have a Euro tour. So I think we want the region to prosper. We want more competition that will trigger more innovation at a government scale. And I think, Dubai has been always on its toes, even with no competition. So imagine now with some competition. So I think whatever is happening at a regional level is good. Dubai has played so many, cards from a regulatory standpoint in terms of residence visa, in terms of attracting foreign investment.
Correct.
And attracting new residents to the city, and it's been working extremely well. So it really became I would say, top 5 destinations in the world. If someone wants to change country and they have the money and they want to live in a safe place, Dubai is top 5, if not even the number 1 for many people as well. So that's basically what I see and how I see, the impact of the interest rate overall. I think we're the least impacted city in terms of real estate when it comes to the interest rate.
I agree.
You saw what happened in Germany. You could pick up in certain areas in Germany properties for 20% less.
Yeah.
Although today, if anyone can service, provided that they can service their debt, no one wants to exit because they know there's no value for the money if they exit. What else are you going to do with the money?
Yeah, exactly. Opportunity cost is not there anymore. Yeah. Okay, great. I think this is.
Question or no?
You did. There is so much to process here that I want to play back. So we will get that in shorts for sure. So I want to bring back. There is one thing that I hear you more and more speak about, which is data and being data driven. And data driven decision making obviously is becoming a game changer in the real estate market. And many companies that are leveraging this obviously are increasing efficiency and profitability. And for you to make data-driven decisions, you obviously need to ensure that this data is accurate and you kind of remove the noise out of it. I'm curious at a DXB Interact level, at a FAM Properties level, how do you, one, collect all that data, and how do you ensure that it's actually accurate?
Okay, I think when I talk to real estate investors, whether individuals or institutional, I say the unique value proposition that we bring to the table, unlike maybe any other players in the market, is the fact that we drive our decisions based on data, but this data always correlates with what we see on the
The
street,
on-ground
the real estate
experience.
industry, right? So you either get players who are extremely good with data, they come from maybe more mature markets, but when they come to Dubai and they play it only based on data, you get funny results. But our hands are on the pulse of the market. So we understand. I mean, I remember one of the biggest challenges when I brought, this to agents, the DXP Interact. We're like, how if clients saw the data, why do they need to call us? Why do they need to speak to us? You always need someone to interpret the data. The
Correct.
data will tell you prices went up. Why did prices go up? The data will tell you, though, there's a spike in price for this particular unit or land in this area. But you need an expert to interpret this right, and also to tell you what you need to do, right? So I
Yes.
think our value proposition here is we always make sure that we correlate data with our market experience, right? And I think once you tick these two boxes and you see that they're in harmony, there is no way for you to go wrong. Like if the market goes down, if the market crashes, you're gonna lose less than anyone else. If the market stays as is, you will hit your forecast more or less. And if the market does better, you will make much more.
Yeah, understood. And I think this takes me to nicely, great segue to the next, I would say, topic that I have in mind is for you to stay as a real estate pioneer and company that is leading the Dubai real estate market, you've got to stay ahead of the competition. And for you to stay ahead of the competition in such a rapidly evolving industry, you probably need to have the right cultures in place, the right people and processes in place. As a leader of FAM Properties, what are some of the, I would say, key drivers for you to stay ahead of the curve?
We're very successful. We don't have competition. I'm sure you're worried.
I
You're
love
like,
that.
oh my goodness. No, obviously we have a lot of competition, direct and indirect. We're subject to competition the same like everyone else. I remember I heard someone once said, we don't have any competitors. And I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
that's just the
you,
startup that I had
you
a
would like
call
it
with.
to faces. Anyway, so how we deal with competition? I think we're a very client-centric company. So at the client front, like I said, I'm a big believer in the fact that the competition is towards creating more value to clients. That's it. Like this is the overarching direction for any successful business. If you're a disruptor, it means you've managed to create more value to clients than the current solutions at a lower price. So,
Very
so everything,
pragmatic.
everything is about creating more value to clients. So if you want to outperform competitors, you're
Yeah.
going to outperform them based on creating more value to clients. So our first line clients are basically our clients, and the second line is our agents. So for example, today we have, and the more you empower your agents, the more you will empower them to empower and to create more value to clients. So that's how it's mapped out in the company. Now, so we first have to empower our agents. We empower our agents with more tools. We've touched about AI before
Data.
in the
Yeah.
start of this discussion, and I said that at the client's front there isn't much, but there's a lot that you can do internally using AI, real AI, not just a motto of AI. It literally saves a lot of time for your agents, saves a lot of time actually across the company, and I think the competition is becoming more and more furious because you can get the same work done with less hours, but no one is working less hours. People are working even more. People are going like on ChatGPT, they're sleeping on their on their laptops because ChatGPT is so addictive that anything you say, it actually talks to you. right? And you
Yeah,
feel
it's a
like
conversation.
there's like infinite set of possibilities to achieve more and to create more.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to expand so much on the answer, but to to your
Just
point,
to stay
I
ahead
think,
of the curve. Yeah,
yeah. So internally, we empower our agents with many AI tools that will give them accurate, reliable information to communicate to their clients. It saves their time, and more importantly, it connects the right client with the right agent. That's a big piece. That's like a revolutionary tool that we've created in the company. We have a back end algorithm that looks at data, and when someone calls us, the system will make sure that it assigns the lead to the right part of competing in the market as well. You want to compete for talent, you want to compete for retaining talent, right? So a lot of our performance management system is actually done, and I would say it's a bit like we've done so much for the agents that it's a bit unfair for the back office. So this year, for example, we're working on the OKRs and we're working on more,
on the
you know,
corporate side.
paying more attention to the performance management of the back office, because if you can't measure performance, you can't say I'm gonna pay more or less, right?
Correct.
So so again, to agents, we empower them with like insanely powerful tools. In
Yeah,
fact, no agent at FAM Properties can utilize the entire system. Impossible. Some agents,
impressive.
dependent on their skill set, dependent on how they operate, they take certain part of the system, they learn, they practice it, and then they leverage it. The last thing with agents. So with agents, the biggest asset in the company, when you look at a company as a combination between the human element and the company in itself, is time. So the question that came to our table is, okay, how can we save more time to for our agents? So we've in an era where everything is going e-commerce. I mean, literally, I've overheard someone in one of the gathering real estate like events that we've had saying that this guy is crazy about me because I was opening too many retail shops, right? So localized retail shops in certain community. And for me, again, it was what I saw back then. I'm talking about 4 years back. What I saw 4 years back is that, okay, as a client-centric company, you want to create more value to clients, you want to create more value to your agents, you want to improve the service level for your agents. So when my agent is actually staying in Jumeirah Park, or in Mudon, or in Dubai Harbor, or in Dubai Creek Harbor, they get a call from a client and say, I want to see the property now. They're there already.
Yeah,
As compared to putting 400 agents in one office in one area in Dubai. And if the market is good, and if the market is going to continue to be good and better, you're only going to get more traffic, and you're only going to get more suffering finding parkings. So that's why
correct.
we're the most geographic spread company in Dubai. We have 26 different offices, between offices and retail shops.
Mimics our own strategy as well at Shorooq Partners, where we have offices across different countries, and I think to add on top of what you said, you also have the agent with a deep understanding of the area because they live there, they work there, so they can easily talk about it, pros and cons, and give a very sound advice to the client who's purchasing,
Yeah.
which is very similar to our case in that sense.
Yeah.
I have a few last questions, if you don't mind, Firas. Saudi Arabia's real estate market is obviously undergoing significant transformation. You've touched upon this. Obviously, it's driven by the Vision 2030, and there is a big push towards modernization. But how do you see the real estate market evolving in Saudi Arabia today, especially with kind of influence of technology going in? Or is it too early for technology to play a role in the real estate market in Saudi today?
All right, a disclaimer first. I'm not an expert in Saudi market, but I'm exposed to the Saudi market. I'm very curious about the real estate market in Saudi, and we have a big client base in Saudi as well. And it's on our map to actually go and explore more. But what I see so far in the Saudi market, I think what Saudi offers that Dubai or no other place offers in the region is scale. It's a real market. It's a gigantic market. It's a continent. There's a lot of local demand in Saudi, and there's a very eager government to improve and to take the market to a mature level, right? Now, obviously, there's a first mover advantage, which always comes with risk. So I'm curious, we're monitoring what's happening, and I know that one day sooner or later, we'll have a big presence in Saudi. What I see in Saudi today, that at a brokerage level, today the Saudi market is dominated by still the old school brokers. So today, if you ask me, is it the right time for a company like FAM to operate in Saudi? And I'd say, not yet. However, a good entry point for a real estate company in Saudi today is off-plan, not the resale market. Because off-plan market, you have the stock, and the right stock will always attract the right buyers, if you know what I mean. Now, as compared to the last 2 years, for example, 2 years back, I mean, you have two markets in Saudi when it comes to the off-plan. You have the private market and you have the subsidized market by the Ministry of Housing. So the subsidized market by the Ministry of Housing, basically, they launch a massive land. I mean, scale, I'm talking about land size you don't hear of in Dubai. You're talking about 20 million, 50 million square meter, 500 million square feet. Like, this is unheard of here, of course. And they bring a group of selected real estate developers, and they say, pay, they get a bank to be involved. They set the criteria for those who are eligible for, subsidized price by the government. So these products used to sell overnight. Now, with the interest rate getting higher, you see that there is impact there, because 95%, if not more even, disclaimer, it's just my observation. I don't have statistics.
Yeah.
It's my statement. But the vast majority of people who buy from the housing, from the Ministry of Housing projects developed by the Ministry of Housing, are basically finance buyers. And now with the interest rate higher, there is definitely a slowdown there on that side. Hence, when you have a slowdown and you have more projects, it means you have more competition among developers. It means developers need to spend more in marketing, in terms of time, money, and effort, right? Sales and marketing. And that's where I see that there is a good entry point for real estate agents. Now, on top of that, then you get the private developers. That has a long way to go, I think, in Saudi. That's like, from the get-go, you have a brutal competition. So that's why I see that for our industry, I think operating in the off-plan space gives you higher chances to win on the short term than the resale and the leasing market.
Excellent. I kind of see where you're coming from there for us. Just in one statement, what's FAM's Properties vision for the future? What's your vision for the future?
Well, I mean, 2022, during the lockdown, we came up with our vision. We want to disrupt, redefine the best real estate practices in the UAE using, like I said, a transparent and ethical tools that benefits all market stakeholders. That's basically our vision. What we want to achieve and how we are going to achieve this is, obviously, I told you we created a machine that's supporting today 700 real estate agents. So if our overhead cost is, for example, X, I think the same machine can support 150% or 200% of our current revenue makers. So definitely scale is at the heart of what we want to do. We want to continue to grow. I think still a lot of market share to be captured in Dubai. Abu Dhabi is definitely on our radar. We're already flirting with Abu Dhabi real estate market. I often see transactions happening there as well. And next is Saudi.
I really, really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
To the viewers and listeners of today's episode, remember to check the description section below for relevant links and resources. Visit our website, shorooq.com, or reach out to us via your preferred social channels. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Till next episode, stay groundbreaking. This is Tarek Fouad signing off.